Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. This is Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Truth be told, it's about 4 a.m. Saturday morning. I had an epiphany this morning. I really, sometimes it's amazing how sometimes if you just look at pictures, or as I get older, I'm going to be 59 next year, how things become crystal clear. And I have to talk about that. Some of the stuff I thought about this morning. When I talk about this stuff, a lot of times I have this monetized YouTube station or channel, and it's stuff I need to talk about. I want to talk about because the more I talk about it, the more I get comments from other men, especially that have been through the same thing. It's a hard thing. It's an impossible thing to talk about, to admit that, if things that happen to you. Like I said, this is a monetized channel, and whenever I try to talk about this, the video will get yellow lighted, meaning that it won't get any advertising. It's like a danger. You're kind of on dangerous ground kind of thing. But I need to talk about this. The stuff I'm going to talk about, the stuff that happened to me, let me say it right now. I was 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, I believe, when I stopped it with a baseball bat. I had grown tall. I had gotten taller. It's the worst thing you could imagine happening to a boy that age by a grown man. I mean, everything and anything you can imagine, it happened to me. That sums it up. Everything, anything. My dad died when I was 9 years old from brain cancer. My mom dated a policeman at first, and he was a little younger than she was, and he was a good guy. But he was just a little on the younger side. She was probably about 34, and he was probably just about 30. And looking back, I can understand how it didn't work out. My mom had the family. Our dad had just passed away, and he just probably wasn't ready for the responsibility. The second guy she dated was another cop, an older guy. He was probably in his 40s when she was in her 30s, and he was a policeman, respected policeman, Irish guy, won ribbons for valor on the police force, and I didn't like him right from the beginning. And whenever it started when my mother was out of the room. At first, he said he'd be there for me after my father died. He said, Daryl, you lost your dad. If you need help with your bicycle, when you get a car in the future, I'll be there to help you out. I'll show you how to tie a tie and shave and all this other stuff. And he ended up grabbing me. That's the first thing that happened when my mother was out of the room. And I was so shocked. I didn't say anything, and I felt I was guilty. I felt I brought it on somehow. That I must have looked effeminate or something at 11 years old, and I must have brought it on myself. I was somehow guilty, and I never said anything. And I think that's the worst part, looking back now. It wasn't the actual abuse, it's the lying. The lying that this son of a bitch made me do to my family, to tell my mother. The lies that he perpetrated, and he had me go along with. Looking back, those are the things that bothered me the most. I remember this guy giving me a roll of quarters. He paid me afterwards, compensation, so I could go play Asteroids on the video games that just come out. It's probably back in 1988. I'm sorry, it's 1978. It all became crystal clear this morning. This is what I wanted to talk about. Sometimes you think you got away scot-free, like it didn't affect me that much. I'm just a normal guy, but that's not the truth. For the first, for the years of my life between 14 and 40, I was an addict, an alcoholic. I was a full-blown heroin crack junkie for most of my 20s and 30s. I got clean and sober at 40 years old. I've been completely clean and sober since October 23rd of 2006. One thing I realized this morning, I looked at the photos of me working out. I get up, I do this YouTube video at 3 a.m., and then I work out from 4 a.m. till 9 a.m., and then I start my work day with my painting and graphic design and stuff like that, and the other jobs, the other things I do to get paid. And I looked at the picture of me, and I don't see myself. Sometimes there's pictures of me with muscles or working out. And it occurred to me this morning, that's what other people see. And honestly, I'll probably try to use this in the thumbnail. I don't see myself like that. I really don't. You know, to be honest, I'm insecure. I still see myself as a chubby 11-year-old kid when I look in the mirror. I still see that. And it became crystal clear this morning. You know, I covered it up back before with drugs and alcohol. Now that I'm clean and sober, I really covered up with overcompensating. You know, this working out 4 hours a day for the last 20 years, last 18 years. What other people see is not what I see, and there's no end to it. You know, I keep seeing that 11-year-old in the mirror, and it just drives me to keep working out harder and harder and harder to try to get rid of that picture of myself. And I guess on the one hand, it's good because that's what fuels me. But on the other hand, it's really not good, you know, because I'm damaged. Just some admissions, an epiphany this morning. I hope this passes all the YouTube regulations. I'm just trying to do this for the purpose of the other people, especially guys that have been through this. I want to talk about this, that it's okay to admit it. You didn't do anything wrong. You weren't guilty. There was nothing you did to bring this on. You know, you were the victim of a predator. That's the bottom line. That's the purpose of this video. Have a good Sunday.